Cecil Thomas. I'm running for the state senate in the 9th district. Many of you are probably aware that I was on city council for 8 years, almost 8 years. I left early, my 7th year. I was also the head of the Human Relations Commission for 5 years, and I was also on the Cincinnati Police Department for 27 years. And I decided to run for the state senate. I guess the question is, why am I running? First of all, I'm married and have been married 32 years. I have 4 adult children and 4 grandchildren. The question is, why am I running? I'm running simply because throughout my 40+ years of service to the citizens of Hamilton County as well as the city of Cincinnati, I've been a person that served the community and the people that live in it. My focus has always been on the quality of life of people. What could I do to make the quality of life of people much better? And I've decided to run simply because the policies coming out of the state house that is represented by the Republican Party are policies that I feel are not in the best interest of the common, hardworking citizens that make up the large percentage of this county as well as the entire state. There are so many things that impact the quality of life of people. One of the first things that came out of the government at the state level was a cut in the local government fund. That fund had been around since 1935 as a resource by which governments manage their budgets. This fund, the governor decided, well, I'm going to end that process, and I'm going to cut that fund significantly. As a result of that cut, we've seen so many municipalities all over this state, especially even in this area, in the 9th district, struggling to try to balance their budgets. Green Township, which is not even in the 9th district, because of the cut to the local government fund, they have a $1.5 million gap. They have had to put on a police and fire tax levy to try to help close the gap. Lincoln Heights has just lost their police department as a result of the local government fund. Silverton lost their police department as an indirect result of the cut to the local government fund. And the list goes on and on. And the governor has said, well, we're giving you a tax break. He said that, but in reality what he did was shifted the tax burden from the poor, from the rich to the poor. He gave a tax break that benefited those at the higher income levels. However, when local governments have to put on tax levies and other means by which to balance their budgets, the citizens, the local citizens, are the ones that have to pay that increase in the tax levy. That's just one area of concern. The minimum wage. The individuals at the state level have still resisted raising the minimum wage to a workable, livable wage. Why is that? It makes no sense that a mother and her children have to, if she works 7 days a week, and still have to be on some form of public assistance. That makes no sense. She should be able to work 5 to 7 days a week and be able to pay all of her bills. Fair and equal pay for women. Why are we even having that discussion? Why is it that 77 cents for every dollar a male gets, the female gets 77 cents? That's ridiculous. Why are we talking about that in the 21st century and still debating that? We heard the discussion about Medicaid and the expansion of Medicaid. The issues coming out of the Senate regarding that particular subject, they temporarily expanded Medicaid, but they need to do an additional expansion and make it permanent. If they choose not to in 2015 to make it permanent or expand it, you will probably see over 200,000 people lose their health insurance as a result. Those folks are currently covered under the temporary expansion. And if they expand it, make it permanent, then it will create jobs. One of the trends now is to not let our seniors be put in nursing homes if at all possible. Most seniors would love to stay in their homes. So the effort now is to have home care workers come to the homes and help the seniors stay in their homes, because that's where they would prefer to be, and that will create jobs under the Medicaid expansion. The Voter Bill of Rights. We've heard from Alicia Reese as well as Denise Streethouse on pushing a Voter Bill of Rights. Why are we making it more difficult for folks to vote? Because that's the policies coming out of the current legislators in the State House. Instead of making it more difficult to vote, we should be trying to find ways to make it easier for folks to vote, simply because this is a democracy. And if our friends in the Republican Party were interested in making it easier for us to vote, they would not be appealing the decision to expand the number of voting days. They would not be appealing that. Cuts to education. We just saw the Renew One. The governor cut, wrap it up, don't you tell me. The governor cut $2 billion out of the education fund. And because there was such a hue and cry, he put some of that money back. The reality, though, is that our children are our most precious method by which we have stable communities, by teaching them at a very early age in terms of education. We must invest in education, not divest out of education. We need to put that money into teaching the children. Charter schools are fine, but they should be held to the same standard as public schools. There's a profit motivation in charter schools, and when you got a profit motivation in charter schools, it becomes problematic. With that, I'll sit down.